Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So for this video, I want to talk about this controversy between these different rival camps within the MAGA movement. So on one side, you have Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump. And then on the other side, you have these grassroots MAGA supporters. And so on this past Thursday, Vivek Ramaswamy put out a tweet, and that tweet stirred up a lot of controversy online. And, a lot of MAGA people were attacking him. And then Elon Musk joined in and supported Vivek Ramaswamy. And he supported, this call for, these visas that allow immigrants to come into this country if they have highly important and valued skills, in tech fields and things of that nature. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to summarize some of the key points that Vivek Ramaswamy put out in his tweet, and then I'm going to go into some comments that Elon Musk made and talk about Donald Trump's support, and then I'm going to provide my commentary about, the ongoing dispute between these different factions. So in Vivek Ramaswamy's long tweet, he basically talked about the reason why American companies are hiring foreign-born and first-generation immigrants over, quote-unquote, Native American candidates. And by native, he just means, people that live in America, who've been living in America for generations. And he says that it's not because of any innate IQ deficiency or anything like that. He says that it's because of American culture. And he talked about how American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long. And he provides some examples. He talks about how in American society, a porn star gets more praise and, attention than, for instance, a math Olympiad. He talked about how a jock is valued more in American society than a valedictorian. And that's somebody, obviously, that graduates from the top of their class. He's saying that, somebody that plays sports is more valued in the eyes of American culture. And a lot can be said about that. You could go into more detail about that, especially when it comes to African American culture. And here's what I have to say to what he's talking about. I mean, without a doubt, there are plenty of qualified Americans that can serve as engineers, plenty of Americans that excel in the STEM fields and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, Vivek Ramaswamy is correct when he makes an assessment of American culture. And we all know that this is true. We know that people that are scholarly and all that stuff are viewed as quote unquote nerds. They are ostracized socially and all that kind of stuff. And these people that are, athletes are celebrated way more. I mean, we all know who LeBron James is. For instance, we all know who Michael Jordan is, but we don't have that same kind of knowledge when it comes to innovators in math and science and stuff. We don't have that same kind of excitement around that. And, I could go into far more detail using the Black community as an example. And one of the takeaways from this, for me, when I read that tweet, it made me immediately think about the need for more African Americans to get involved in tech fields. It's time for us to have a greater emphasis on STEM education and STEM careers in our community. And there are plenty of groups that do this. A fellow Howard graduate that I know has a whole STEM program that he promotes, where he's encouraging young people to get involved in STEM careers and all that. There are plenty of examples of that, but we need more of it. In our community, we see more people celebrating negativity than we see people encouraging people to get involved in these kinds of fields, unfortunately. We're quick to celebrate, somebody that can rap over somebody that can excel in science and math and all that kind of stuff in medicine. We're quick to celebrate these basketball players and football players over scholarship. And I mean, an example of that would be like in a barbershop, for instance. You hear people that can go into all these details about all these football players' stats and basketball players' stats, but they don't have nowhere near that level of knowledge or excitement around STEM things, STEM activities and scholarship and all that kind of stuff. We simply don't see that. And I think that that's the case in a larger American society. So I think that he makes valid points in that area. I mean, for instance, you could have a woman that has some really detailed, intelligent commentary, for instance, on social media, but she will get far less views and support than, these people that are on these websites where they're revealing their body and all this and that, like OnlyFans or things like that. So I think that he has some valid points. So that's the first point that I wanted to make. The other point is this. I think that Elon Musk was correct when he characterized these these far-right Trump supporters as contemptible fools. And he called them that because of their anti-immigrant sentiment. They lashed out against, Ramaswamy when he put out this tweet, because they don't want immigrants coming to this country, especially non-white immigrants. They primarily don't want non-white immigrants coming to this country. And so they lash out, and many of these people are bigoted. Many of these people are narrow-minded. Many of these people are racist. So he's correct when he talks about how they are contemptible fools. And they are fools because they allow Donald Trump to play them like fools. And, at the end of the day, Donald Trump is supporting Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. Despite all this anti-immigrant rhetoric, he is supporting them. He's supporting, this idea that you need to have foreigners come to this country to fill these STEM positions and stuff because they have certain skills that Americans don't. He supports them on that. And despite all this anti-immigrant rhetoric, he's appointed an immigrant, Elon Musk, to head up, this department on government efficiency. He's appointed a man who's whose parents are immigrants as well to co-chair that particular government agency while he's using all this anti-immigrant rhetoric. So he doesn't even believe in the anti-immigrant stuff that he talks. He just uses that to manipulate these contemptible fools that follow him. He panders to their hatred. He panders to their bigotry and their racism, and he plays them like the puppets and pawns and peons that they are. And now all of a sudden they're upset because that's been exposed. It's been exposed that, that he supports these guys and he supports, bringing these immigrants to this country to fill these roles. And the other point that I wanted to make is this, in the minds of these MAGA maniacs, there are no exceptional people of color. There are no quote unquote model immigrants or model minorities as far as they're concerned. There are no immigrants that they want that are exceptional other than white immigrants. Because at the end of the day, this whole MAGA movement is really about racism. That slogan, "Make America Great Again," is really about making America white again. These people fear the browning of America. So despite, the skills that some of these immigrants offer, these MAGA people have no respect for them. These MAGA people hate them. These MAGA people view them as racial slurs. That's how they view them. Despite their accomplishments, despite their education. For instance, with Vivek Ramaswamy himself, like when he was running for president, this is a man that's accomplished. He's a business owner and all that kind of stuff, a successful business owner. He's graduated from Harvard University, graduated from Yale Law School. But in the minds of people like Ann Coulter, they would never vote for him. simply because of the color of his skin, simply because of his racial identity and his nationality. Ann Coulter said that out of her own mouth, that she would never vote for him because he's Indian. And that's the mindset of these MAGA people. So they don't care that, you have all these accomplishments. And the thing is, you had some of these ignorant immigrants actually vote for Donald Trump and support him because they believe in this myth of exceptionalism when it comes to the MAGA crowd. They think that because they followed the proper channels to become American citizens, that somehow they are different from those quote unquote illegal citizens, illegal immigrants. They think that somehow they're the exception to the rule. Somehow all that anti-immigrant rhetoric in their minds doesn't apply to them because they went about it the legal way. But at the end of the day, they have contempt for all immigrants, not just illegal immigrants. Because, when you look at the situation where Donald Trump was talking about they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs and all that stuff, he was talking about Haitian immigrants who are legally in this country. But despite their legal status, he was fanning fear and fanning hatred towards these legal immigrants in this country. So it's not about you being, whether you're a legal immigrant or not. They have contempt for immigrants, period. And that's the thing. You got some of these people that in their minds, they think there's some kind of exception to the rule. And that's why they found themselves voting for this man, when in reality, they are not the exception. They're just like any other immigrant in the minds of these racist, white MAGA supporters. That's how they view you. Regardless of how you came to this country, if you're a person of color, if you're an immigrant, they despise you. And that's made clear in how they responded to Vivek Ramaswamy. They responded to him with hatred. They responded to him with racial slurs, from what I understand. And the last point that I want to make is this. This whole HB1 visa situation is a situation that involves exploitation of workers. And we know that Vivek Ramaswamy is a capitalist, a successful businessman. We know that Donald Trump is a capitalist. We know that Elon Musk obviously is a capitalist. And so they are all for any system that will allow them to get and use and exploit cheap labor. And that's exactly what this visa situation is. It's a situation where they're able to get these highly skilled individuals to fill positions, and they're able to pay them far less than they would have paid an American citizen. And that is the reason why they support that. That's part of the reason why they support this whole system. But anyway, those are some of my thoughts. I'm really interested in hearing from you. What do you think about this ongoing debate between Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, and, these MAGA maniacs? Please rate, comment, subscribe, like the video, share the video, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you all have to say about this particular issue. Peace.